without electricity, nothing can really be achieved. And this issue of electricity all around the country, Mr. President, like Senator Ahmed Lawan said, as uncommon as we know you to be, this 10th Senate should be much more uncommon in addressing the issue of electricity in Nigeria. Because I can really not understand why the inability to solve this problem in this country. All the sources of power generation that technology has provided in the world today, Nigeria has all those sources of power generation. And yet, we still don't have electricity. My local community is not exempted from the situation of lack of electricity. And we're talking corruption, fighting corruption. How do we fight corruption where life is so expensive, so difficult for people to live? The cost of diesel is a problem. The cost of this is a problem. And the government of the day is doing the best it can. But if we allow things like this to continue the rate at which they are going, Nigerians will not appreciate the efforts of this government.
But you notice that the motion, it is not that government failed to provide.
I am going there, Mr. President.
No, but start from there, because you have to tailor your contribution towards the motion. The motion is saying that as a result of vandalization of the TCN lines, that the entirety of the Northeast today has stayed without electricity. And then Senator Kaka said that some areas, because of insecurity and also the same vandalization, had even stayed for 2 years. But now, of recent, it has now extended to the whole states of the entire region. So, and then Senator Ahmed Lawan pointed out that federal government has tried to introduce the Northeast Development Commission, and that will help in terms of improving the infrastructure, but it is not enough. The government needs to do more in order to ensure that that area is taken as a special development area.
Mr. President,
for us to achieve anything. If you are saying that you can't understand why Nigeria has not moved forward in electricity, it's the same way that you can't understand why some people are tall and some people are short. That is a simple truth. The country is not in dire need of ideas or speeches, but the country is in dire need of action. And what we are talking about now is that everybody must contribute. All hands must be on deck. The vandals must stop in order for the Northeast to have electricity. And government must also do its best to expand the coverage. So I believe we are on the right track.
So what's the difference between...
So please...
I am not, and shall not talk out of point. Vandalization is a common problem everywhere, and those that are into this should be called to order. And having said that, I did say that the government of the day is doing the best it can to ensure that this situation is being handled. But if things like this continue, Nigerians will not appreciate. So really and truly, Mr. President, what you said and what I said are on the same path. So we should all do the needful.
So you support the motion?
Of course, I support the motion. That's why I raised my hand and you recognized me, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. The
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Danjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central in Gombe State. Mr. President, I stand to second and support this very important motion, which borders on the extreme hardship being experienced by all the states of the Northeast, including part of Plateau State. Mr. President, for over 1 month now, the Northeast region, all the 6 states and part of Plateau have been in total darkness 24 hours, non-stop. And the reason is just because some few towers of the 330 kV transmission line have been vandalized, and the transmission line has been supposedly working on these towers for the past maybe 30 or 40 days. Up to now, no tangible result has come out. Mr. President, it is very appealing that a very, very important part of this country, comprising 6 states and part of Plateau, can be kept in darkness non-stop, and nothing to show on the part of TCN to show that they are really very serious to solve this problem. People have been complaining, in Mama. We have gone to them, I've written to them. Our governors have talked to them, traditional rulers, National Assembly members individually, and yet there's no result. That's why we are now coming to the National Assembly, to the Senate in particular, to intervene on behalf of our suffering people to ensure that electricity is restored to the Northeast without delay. The mover of the motion has also touched on the need, I think I need to explain that, on the need to construct the Makade-Jalingo 330 kV line. The idea is to have what they call double circuit. If we had this Makade-Jalingo line, if we have fault along Jos, Gombe line, we can still, the 6 states can still get light through the Makade-Jalingo, Yola, Gombe transmission line. That's what they call double circuit. But what we have now is single circuit. And it doesn't cost much if we can do that. That will solve the problem of electricity in the Northeast. Without doing that, any small fault, even if one tower is affected, the entire region will be in darkness. So, Mr. President, we urge you to intervene in addition to these 3 prayers, possible to personally call, because it's very, very serious. People are desperate. No, as a result of this lack of electricity, there's no water. There's no water, and because of this, there are serious health problems. And there are serious health problems, and in fact, there is hunger. So many things are associated with this lack of electricity to the extent that we have very serious challenge of security because as a result of darkness. Because crooks, thieves, bandits prefer darkness to light, and that's what is happening. So we're in serious danger, and that's why we're calling for urgent intervention of the Senate, led by Mr. President, who is the uncommon leader. We want you to show your uncommon intervention in this matter to ensure that light is restored to us immediately. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Goje for the contributions they made on this floor. And in addition, Mr. President, it will interest these hallowed chambers to note that some parts of the Northeast had no light in the last 2 years. Of recent, the other parts that had light was vandalized. As we speak, government institutions such as airports, schools, hospitals were being run on generators. And you know how costly AGO is in this country. I don't know between AGO and dollar, which is the essential commodity now, I can say. Mr. President, sir, the essence, the primary purpose of government is the provision of security and welfare of the citizenry. So here is a complete region of Nigeria that has no light as a result of attitudes of criminals and vandals. So I support this motion and call on my colleagues to also support this motion with a view to providing electricity to the northeastern parts of this country. I thank you most sincerely for the opportunity, and I thank my colleagues for the opportunity. Thank you, sir.